G'day there folks, I'm your host Steve Elmy of the Homegrown Hunter TV. Today we're going to take to the field and show you some do's and don'ts to make your deer hunt successful this year. Stay tuned, it's going to be a fantastic show. Homegrown Hunter TV has been brought to you by Rack Stacker Brand Products, Canada's leading big game attractants company. Campbellford Chrysler, a small town dealer with a huge inventory. And Huckabones Equipment, Ottawa Valley's Kubota dealer. And these other fine sponsors. In the spring of the year, I always try and get a mineral source on my property. Typically, I do 2 to 3 spots on a 100-acre farm. And in this case, we're using stacked. We've been using this since 2013. In fact, it's even got coconut vanilla flavoring. It may sound funny, but a lot of deer really enjoy that flavoring, especially in this new stacked product. You can find it in a 5-pound bag as well as 50 pounds. The 50-pound bag is in bulk, so you can use multiple locations. Or if you and your hunting buddies go together, you can get volume sizes to save yourself some cash. Now we also have 2 very good products that we've had for the last 10 years. They're called Blaze and Glory. These are 2 supplemental mineral products that you put out in the springtime as well. Now I often get the question, what's the difference between Blaze and Glory? Well, Blaze was our first mineral supplement that we developed back in 2005. And one of the reasons why we developed that was because we love deer as a whole herd. So we developed that specifically for doe lactation and milk and fawn recruitment and health. Calcium and phosphorus levels are higher in the Glory mineral, and it's more geared toward buck and antler development. Both work equally the same in drawing in the whole herd. It depends on what you want to use that mineral source for, but I personally like Blaze and Stack to work the best way for me. So be sure to give it a try and see which one works best for you. Now that you got the spring and the summer taken care of, that mineral will hold those deer on your property until the following summer. You can get a food plot in like what's behind me here, or if you may not have the opportunity to put a food plot in or the equipment, you can lean on what's called the protein block. The protein block is actually very similar to our original deer feed, but it's got minerals in it and it's pressed into a 25-pound block. It's fantastic for putting in front of your trail cameras to lasting up to 6 to 8 weeks, especially if you've got bears or raccoons in the area, because they have a tendency to take off with your feed. This way, because it's so heavy, they'll leave it alone and your deer continuously come into your trail cameras. Our Rack Stacker deer feed is a balanced feed specifically for feeding your whitetail herd throughout the winter months. You're going to be seeing this bag across all independent and corporate retail outlets across Canada, so keep an eye out for it. Absolutely nothing's changed to the formulation. It's the same formula we started with back in 2007. A couple of tips on using the Rack Stacker deer feed. The top end of the bag, you're going to find a tag. That's going to tell you whether or not it's the original formulation, which has rich molasses mixed with grains, perfect for winter feeding, or you're going to find a dry mixture called auto feeder. This is one that you would use in your auto mix so that the auto feeder spreads the feed evenly and the molasses doesn't get stuck. Another thing you want to be able to do is go out into the field and put small piles within 100 yards of your tree stand. This is a real simple thing to do to get them started at coming to your location and getting comfortable with the location. It also helps with dispersing the smell in the early parts of the year. Then, as you get into the season, you can also get closer and closer to your stand so you know the deer are going to funnel right to you. Now, I do want to make you aware of something called ruminitis. There's lots of guys out there that are using straight corn that they're buying from their feed mill, but they got to also understand that the corn that's in the field is high moisture. White-tailed deer, when we get into the winter months and everything freezes up, the ponds, the creeks, the lakes where they normally get lots of moisture, and then you feed them corn like that in the wintertime, it doesn't get the moisture it needs to break down in the stomach. It's referred to as ruminitis, and this ruminitis is rapid fermentation in the stomach, and it can kill them. The difference between the corn in the field from your farmer and the corn you buy from your mill, now don't get me wrong folks, I have my own mill. I only know this because I've been trained on it. But that's a 14% moisture content, and this could be as high as 40%. So be aware of that when you're feeding your deer in the wintertime. Consider rack stacker deer feed. It's the top premium feed on the market today. You'll see a little later in the show where I use a bale of hay to cover up the feed. This does two things for me. One, it keeps all the other rodents out. It keeps the blue jays and the blackbirds and the crows out of my feed site. It also helps cover up my scent. I use hay to lay down in the bottom of a blind and around me to not only give me warmth, but it also keeps the scent down in the blind while I'm hunting deer close to the bait site. If you plan on using the same technique this coming fall, make sure that there's no clover in your hay that you're using, because any fawns that are not exposed to the clover won't be able to digest it properly, because clover has a certain microorganism in it that the fawns can't break down. Keep that in mind, and good luck this fall. Take life to a whole new level and look good while doing it. HD fast wheels and Falcon tires are the perfect combination to make your truck look awesome and take you to the top. HD Series Fast Wheels is a Canadian company that has a vast selection for your off-road vehicle. Get off the grid and take to the back road with the dependability of Falcon tires. Check out fastwheels.ca. Huckabones Equipment in Cobden, Ontario has received multiple excellence awards for service, quality, and selection when it comes to Kubota equipment in the Ottawa Valley. From excavators, compact tractors of all needs, and lawn tractors, I personally rely on my Kubota tractor to get the job done around my farm throughout the year. Huckabones Equipment goes the distance for customer satisfaction. Be sure to check out huckabones.com for a full lineup of tractors. Now if you're looking to get off the beaten path where all the big bucks want to be, you need to get yourself into an L10 safe ground blind. These are backpack style ground blinds you could take back into any spot secluded where the big deer want to be. What I normally do in the late season is cover it up inside with a bunch of hay bales. That covers my scent from where they're feeding from. It also keeps me out of the wind and nice and warm throughout the colder months in December. But what if it snows? That's okay, because L10 Safe has you covered, quite literally. They have a snow cover that you can put right over top of the den and the other blinds that they offer, so that you can be covered without being detected by the white-tailed deer. Check out the L10 Safe ground blinds for a late season deer hunt. Now let's get to the field and try and get after that buck called Daggers. Before the break, I was telling you that I like to use rack stacker deer feed to draw big bucks out during daylight hours. Now it's time to put that tactic to use to fill a tag that was burning a hole in my pocket.
So I'm after a buck named Daggers. I mean, a makeshift blind that I built years ago. It's actually about 6 or 8 feet wide by 10 feet long. It allows me to lay hay down. It covers my scent. For the last couple of weeks, I've been putting hay down on top of the feed, so I've been smelling the hay. Therefore, it will cover up my scent. I'm after a buck named Daggers. I've got footage of him for years. And I'm about tonight's the night. Snowstorm coming in. -8. Wind is perfect. We'll see what happens. Wish me luck.
I had a couple of does that came in downwind. They held up for a bit, but didn't take long for them to commit. They started moving in closer just after a few minutes and were joined by a couple of fawns. Daggers, the deer that I was after, actually got injured in an ice storm back in 2013. Since his injury, he's been favoring that back right leg. His antler size has gone downhill ever since. Daggers would be 10 years old this year, so he's a good one to take out of the herd. As you can clearly see, the doe population is very healthy, and I may just take one of them for the freezer, as there is only 4 days left in the hunt. Because I shot that doe right at the last minute, I wanted to let her lay overnight. I knew that that 3-blade Rexbid broadhead that I was using was going to be successful, but I didn't want to start pushing deer out because there's a lot of deer that come to that food plot location where I was baiting that deer. Now the cool thing is with this blade, it cuts to 1.5 inches in diameter, and they also come in what's called a Rexbid 2. This is how the broadheads work. Instead of having any rings or O-rings or clips or clamps that are going to be loose, it's a mechanical broadhead that actually opens up, just like so. Works out very easily. This is actually a 2-blade Rexbid. The one I was using is a 3-blade Rexbid, and they come in a single pack and a triple pack. They come in a hard case. You could throw that in your backpack just in case you're out on a hunt somewhere and you want to switch it out. Check them out on our Rackstacker website at rackstacker.ca. They're in our hunting accessory items. These are fantastic broadheads to be using for whitetail deer. Let's get back to the show. The next morning I called my buddy Tyrell to help drag out the deer for me. Thanks, buddy.
Hi, I'm Kevin Clark. I've used Rackstacker for the last 3 years with very good results. My son and I find that it really enhances our opportunities for harvesting deer on our property. If you haven't tried it, give it a try today.
The family-owned company Helle Knives out of Norway are among the best in their business. They're built to last with quality craftsmanship since 1932. With the triple laminated stainless steel blade, it'll be sharp for when you need it the most. Handcrafted knives for every use in the field, from cleaning big game, butchering, and preparing your meat for the table. Look for a Helle knife dealer near you. Bishop Lake Outdoors is located in Cloyne, Ontario, and is the area's full-line Browning gun and accessory dealer. Bishop Lake Outdoors has a large selection of guns to choose from, including muzzleloaders, rifles, shotguns, and even the authorized dealer of the one and only Excalibur crossbow. That's not all. A full line of top fishing brands are also available. Stop in and see the staff at Bishop Lake Outdoors. The deer season was officially over and it was time to take up another sport. I headed north to Sault Ste. Marie to hang out with elite staff member Nathan Coombs. He had a secluded lake that he liked to fish, but the only way to get there was by snowshoe on our way up to the top of this mountain.
Down the corner, up the hill, around another corner, up a small hill, and then around the way.
Okay.
It's a short one.
Yeah. As I panned behind the hill we just climbed, and I went up to my knee, Keep yourself in shape. We're young. Let's keep at it. I certainly wasn't prepared for this walk-in, but I was optimistic and was excited to see what was in for the day of fishing. We finally reached the top of the lake. A couple of proven spots that Nate had were across on the other side, so we got ourselves settled in for the morning fish. I'm recording and she's taking a dump in the background. It wasn't long and we had one fish on the ice. It started to get some good action from the lake trout that we were after. They're biting now.
Pounds maybe? Pretty average park fish.
It's dark too, eh?
Dark. Yeah, they're pretty dark out of this lake.
What's that? Oh, I got another one too, right here. That was quick. It barely even got down, man. That didn't even drop for a minute. Ow. On this lake, the catch limit is 2 lake trout each. One over 15 inches and one under 15 inches. Oh, look at that! That's the second time, buddy. I don't get time to fish very often, but you could tell that I was having a blast. Little off-grid fishing with a buddy of mine. There should be. This guy, we've already got a 15 inch, so this one's going back. Now, just before I caught him, I was about to ask Nate what they're, like obviously he's just sitting here, we've been jigging and it's not working. It seems that just them sitting there, they swimming by and just hitting it.
It's a little slower today. It's overcast and the fish aren't as aggressive, so it seems like when your lure is just sitting there, it gives the fish time to come up and sniff it and bump it a couple times before they actually decide to take it. It's been working so far.
So we're literally not doing any work now. We're just sitting here waiting for the lines to take off. And it seems to be working out. That was cool.
You gotta press record more often, we'll get more fish.
Yeah.
So we just finished catching our lake trout and caught my last lake trout on this white tube, and it's pretty tore up. We're gonna switch it out. For specks, I like to go with a smaller spoon and tip it with a worm or part of a minnow. Sometimes small spoons or bucktail jigs work pretty good, and we'll see. Blue and silver or red and gold seem to be a pretty hot color in this lake, so try it out.
The Alton Safe Outdoors ground blinds offer a fast and safe solution to hunt anywhere, so we can easily adapt to game movement during our hunting season. In addition, they protect us from the unexpected weather conditions. Get your Alton Safe Outdoors ground blinds at your favorite retail location and enjoy maximum comfort and concealment this hunting season. Alton Safe Outdoors, Canada's first and only hunting brand.
After a great day of fishing with Nathan, local resident Larry Skinkle asked if I wanted to join him on a coyote hunt the following morning. I couldn't pass this opportunity up to at least try. We were headed to a hillside overlooking a large open pasture. The game plan was to use some mouth calls to draw coyotes across the field from the north side. Larry has had success in this field before with just howling and rabbit distress calls. The only thing we were able to upset that morning was a pileated woodpecker. So we chose to meet up with Nathan again and take the sleds into the backwoods for another brook trout fish.
And that's on the north.
Those camps are right about there.
On the north side of this.
Okay, so the setup we're using today is just a simple like drop shot. I've got a 3-way swivel on the bottom, a little stone imitation sinker just to take it down, and I like to have a worm on the bottom, just so that's sort of natural and where they would find a worm. And then on top, again, a little live minnow in this case. Provided they're in the right spot and they're allowed and all that for live bait. So then we just got one of these little rattle reels that you can buy at anywhere, any fishing shop, and just put her down, bring it up maybe a few inches off bottom. And then the last thing that I do, in case I'm at another line, I take a piece of electrical tape, put it up here. Then from a distance, I can tell if the tape is down closer to the ice or disappeared, then there's obviously something on the other end.
It's dinner. Blue spot with red right in the middle of it?
Yeah.
Like blue halo and then a red dot.
And you can see the really white on the
Those get super distinctive in the
fall.
fall when they're spawning.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, this will get darker.
Yeah, that
Everything
pigmentation
just
up top just
pops.
Yeah.
After a beautiful afternoon of fishing, we got our fair share of fish. We filleted them for dinner when we got home, and we didn't waste any time at gobbling them up.